All righty. We're cooking now. Three people
Yeah,
waiting for me.
really in and out.
All right, we can deal with that, Steve. You got to go?
That's a lot better now.
Yeah, it is. What happened?
I don't know.
I don't know. Somebody took down the wall between Kentucky and Tennessee.
And I'll wait till check-in time.
Yeah, you sound great. Whew. So it was 3, now it's down to 1. Is that you, Michael? Yep, I got audio. I've got a gauge at the bottom that tells me. That's why I say I got audio. All righty, we're going to get started here right now. This is K4PEW with the Mount Juliet Simplex Radio Net. Is there any emergency or priority traffic? Nothing heard. Being that there's nothing heard, you can check in at any time or just break in at any time if you have an emergency. We'll be happy to help you out. Let's see what's next. For information on this net, you can immediately go to YouTube and go to either you've got my call in the search block, which is K4PEW, or you can go to just the same place in the search block and look up the word Brain Trust, BRAINTRUSTS. It's one word, and you'll find me somewhere in there. You can also see us on our website, which is 146415.net. That's 146415.net. Or on our Yahoo group, which is under the group MJ. It's Mike Juliet _ Sierra Sierra. It's in the ham radio section. And what else? Oh, on my email, k4pew@arrl.net. That's k4pew@arrl.net. Is there... That's no questions on that. We normally meet at 8 p.m. every Wednesday and Saturday night, which we've been doing now for 4.5 years. We're on episode number 481, which I don't know if it's a record. It's a record for us because we've never done 481 before. Purpose of the net is to have fun and help people understand who they can hear and can't hear in the community. That's kind of the fun of it. Who can you hear and how can you make your system better? And most people have made improvements or tried to make improvements within their budget in order to not only hear me, but have me hear them, and also they can hear the other people that I'm talking to. So we invite everyone to use the net to announce amateur radio events, activities, etc., for the support of the local ham community, as well as ham plus anybody else who wants to use ham radio. Does anybody have any announcements for the net? All righty. Well, tonight is the big shoe, as they used to say, and nobody remembers what that was. But tonight we have on the net, we have the regular 2-meter net, followed by the by the buy, sell, swap, and swindle net, and then followed by the 2-meter net on sideband on 144.240, 144.240 upper sideband. And following that, we can go to bed. Other things, so tonight, that's those 3 things. Wilson County Amateur Radio, well, that's not until next Thursday at 8 p.m. You guys know about that, and I send out announcements. Tuesday is the Wilson County W4EAO Emergency Preparedness Net on repeater over there, and that's not until Tuesday, but I also send an announcement on that. Does anybody else have any announcements? All righty, well, I'll just start right in. Last week we started out with East. There we go. I have to look at my notes. And again, if you're keeping track, this is number 481 on the list of nets we've done. Not that really is significance. So now we're starting at north of Mount Juliet, north of Lebanon Road. Please come down.
KB9RKK.
Hey, how you doing there, Frank?
Wow, this is the first that went first. Wow, I'm doing good.
Maybe your last from Wednesday's net.
Yeah, making up for it, I guess.
No, you're doing good. Everything going all right?
Yeah, doing good. I just wish it wasn't raining, but I guess tomorrow we're supposed to have a good day.
Ah, they're all good days, man. The rain is a perfect excuse not to mow the lawn, trim the shrubs, and do that lawn type kind of work, you know.
This is true. Yeah, this is true. We did that yesterday.
Yeah, well, it was just a little light rain today. They always tell it's going to be terrible, and it wasn't terrible at all.
Yeah, I'm grateful for that. It's just humid. I was in the garage all day, so it's, kind of getting hot in there. But we don't have the air on, but I'm about to turn it on. It's getting pretty humid.
Oh yeah, we got to have to. We got two clients living us here, well, besides 5 dogs, two normal adults and two abnormal adults. So I got to keep the air on. Very good, Frank. Good to have you in there. That's Frank, Kilo Bravo 9, Romeo, Kilo, great signal. First time, I think it's the first time he was the first one in here. So it's a record. It's a red letter day. Thanks for being in there, Frank. And Frank's participates in the W4EAO net on Tuesday nights. So I'll be sending out an announcement on that. Who else we got north of Modular? Hey, there you are again. Yeah, your signal was terrible. Nothing changed at all on your end?
As far as I know.
Oh, okay, well, you would know. It's just interesting how it was really, really down in the mud, and then when you came back a minute later, it was fine. Yeah, it must be okay because you just went down into the mud kind of again. I don't know if you could see that on the web or not, but it really went down. Anything new on your end? Is there anything new on your end? All right, work's going okay.
Yes, normal stuff. Steady construction all the time.
Yeah, well, it's good to keep busy. I tell you what, I've been retired for nine years or so. I don't miss it. I miss it in the sense of do certain things, but I don't miss it for the crazy stuff.
I will tell you that I went outside to look for a stumble in my truck. Every time I accelerated, I had a stumble in it, and I thought it was a spark plug. The car wouldn't throw up a code. So I opened the hood, and I started there, just sit there and look around. I looked at the battery. The battery positive terminal was like less than an eighth of an inch away from the metal sidewall. Battery back over where it's supposed to be, and focus it back down. I think that was my stumble the whole time.
Yeah, well, I didn't catch all that because as you progressed, the conditions got really crappy and then they got kind of good again. So in the middle of that, what was wrong with the battery terminal?
Nothing. It's just the battery hold down was loose inside.
Ah, okay. It slid over and got near the terminal.
Yeah, let the battery slide over.
I got. I'm with you. No, it really did. If you hear it on the audio on this on the YouTube, you'll get a kick out of how you're in just one 30-second period. It went from good to bad back to good again.
I can't believe I have 10 one day and less than 2 the next day.
Oh, I know. It's unbelievable. It's just well, conditions as always. I mean, it's not like you're nearby. It's what 65 miles.
Yeah, thereabouts.
Yeah, right now you're doing great. I mean, it's a good. You've got a. Well, I just noticed. I think it was S3 or so, but the audio is great.
All right, I want to give you another number. Let you know that I'm still here, trying to get some compadres from up here to get further out than I am.
Hey, by the way, give me that frequency again and which nights you're doing your net.
146, 430, and that's on Tuesday nights at 7:30.
And that's on that 430 Simplex?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll give her a try.
All right, we'll see you later.
All right, thanks, Steve. That was Steve, K4. That's Kilo 4 Whiskey Kilo uniform. He's up north of Bowling Green. Some of you probably can't hear him, but they have a Simplex net in the Bowling Green vicinity at 146.430 on Tuesday nights at 7:30 p.m. It'd be cool if those that are able checked in and letting people know that we're paying attention to them. All right, who else we got north of Mount Juliet? All right, then we'll move over to the west of Mount Juliet. Please come in.
for a while already.
Yeah, I think it was a double in there, but Michael goes first. Everything all right, Michael?
Everything is lovely.
No more drug interactions?
No, actually, I've actually got some stuff done today.
Well, hope you're not working too hard.
I'm taking frequent breaks just to make sure everything stays okay.
Yep, I know what you mean. I know how I felt when I was a couple of times I've been sick and recovering. It takes a while to recover.
It sure does. I got some good news though just a minute ago.
What was the good news?
I had a text from my brother Rick said he's ordering that 700 next weekend.
Ah, all righty. That'll be good. It's see, next weekend is what is that? Today's the what? The 4th, so that's by the 11th. He's going to order it. He'll have it up when probably within hours of it arriving.
I would hope so.
Yeah, that'll be great. Is he on tonight?
Yeah, he's going to be on next, I think.
All right, very good, Michael. That was Michael Kilo Mike 4 Yankee Romeo Foxtrot in Bellshire. Great signal and great news about his brother Rick. Who else is next up west of Mount Juliet?
AM4 TJF.
Hey, that sounds like Rick over there.
Roger. How's everybody doing?
Doing great. I heard the good news about what you're gonna do.
Yeah, thinking about time and I got to do it while I can.
Yeah, your signal's better now than it was when we talked last.
Yeah, I'm going to modulate this mic a little better too.
Yeah, okay. No, you sound great. Signal strength isn't huge, but I don't expect it to be where you are and what you got.
Well, okay, won't be much longer, fellas. I'm going to have to sure. This old dude is dragging.
All righty, very good, Rick. Good to have you in there. That's Kilo Mike 4 Tango Juliet Foxtrot, and he's in Ashland City. And he's got the good news. He's ordering that monster 2 meters, 70 centimeter antenna, that diamond. Maybe I shouldn't do brand names over the air. How about just a model? That's an X700 over there. And he's got a pretty good elevation in Ashland City. So it ought to be a great signal. And good reception to boot. Who else we got west? Please come down. Anybody else west of Mount Juliet, please come down.
Whiskey 4, Alpha Whiskey Echo.
Yeah, you're going to have competition on the west side when Rick gets up that X700.
Yeah, that'll be great. In fact, he's coming in really good tonight.
Oh, I imagine he is. He's been up and down just due to conditions. I just said, I don't know if you heard me talking to Steve. At some point, he was almost unreadable. And other points, he was just perfectly readable. So it's conditions and the weather right now are a little odd.
Yeah, I haven't looked up Rick's exact location, but in general, Ashland City has got a really good elevation.
Yeah, he's, seems to me, isn't there, well, there's a waterway through there somewhere, isn't there? But he's up above that. He's up on a hill. He's got a good, I think it's up, I want to say it's around 700 feet.
Yeah, I mean, Ashland City's right along the Cumberland River. There's a helipad right there at the Ashland City side of the bridge, but it sits up on quite a hill.
Yeah, I think he's going to be great. Well, you know the difference. I can tell the difference. It's amazing. I don't know if you heard me last night when I was getting emergency ready for no power here, and I put my 5-watt HT on the air on this antenna, and Mike and Bellshire still had me full scale.
Yeah, I heard you scrambling. In fact, I think I caught transmission right at the start where you were only on maybe a couple of watts or so, and you were plugged into the X700, and it was just fine. Yeah,
no, it's amazing. But again, elevation is king. I mean, 5 watts is 5 watts, and an HT is, well, an HT is an HT. I don't even know if it is. I've never measured it off the HT, but I assume it's around 5 watts.
You know, it's sort of like your really good location, and Ashland City, is almost like getting a free 100-foot tower.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, the fact that I can copy him without a great antenna or a great, I don't know what he's putting up for a mast, but the fact that I'm copying him fairly well now is promising already.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and with an X700 at 24 feet, you could almost ground mount it on a 3-foot pole and do pretty well.
Yeah, I'm sure that's right. Everything else going all right for you?
Oh, yeah, everything
everything's good.
Very good. We were marveling earlier on the. The only time I watch horse racing is the Kentucky Derby and maybe the Preakness and that stuff. But today's was a funny one. First time in 145 years they canceled the winner.
Yeah, I'm the same. That's about the only horse race I ever watched. And yeah, that was something. That was a really interesting 14 minutes or so of everybody standing around. And the horse that did end up winning, I think that was something like 64 or 65 to 1 odds. So a lot of money suddenly shifted.
Well, the second happiest man in the race was that number 4 who moved up to number 3.
Yeah, no kidding.
He was out of the money until that was a heck of a decision. So obviously they thought about it very carefully.
Yeah, that was a hard one, I guess, but I don't know that much about the sport, but they obviously labored over it.
Well, at least in this case, the horses aren't disappointed. They don't care.
Exactly. Boy, they were some beautiful, beautiful horses.
Yeah, I know, but I wish they had a horse cam so I could see all that mud flying around.
Yeah, you almost wonder, a bad splash on those goggles could really put you out of commission.
Oh, I know it. I even noticed on one side of the goggles the guys was wearing, there was actually, it looked like a vent in one corner of the glasses to keep, to vent the interior.
Yeah, to keep it from fogging.
Yeah, I never noticed. It was actually like a metal vent built into the, cut into the glass or plastic, whatever it was.
Yeah, but that's something we've dealt with for years with safety glasses. All have those just because they sure fog up if you know them.
Yeah, so. It's what I thought, though, in case anybody's interested in racing, but I thought my wife and I both pondered the idea before there was video and film of races, let's say 50 years ago. Bet you there was a lot more bumping and grinding, and who can complain? Who's going to there's nothing to replay.
Yeah, that would be a curious fact to Google. When was the first photo finish?
Well, not even the photo finish. I mean, I'm talking about when that one was actually not at the end. It was in the, whatever it was, near the second or third turn. And you go, well, how do you dispute something that you can't replay?
Yeah, it's pretty hard to see on the far stretch before drones.
Yeah, that was. Anyway, it was an interesting race, an interesting finish, and I got a kick out of it. If for only one reason, and that was a decision that was made that had never been made before in that horse race.
And I didn't realize until I saw them do the listing there towards the end that a DQ actually puts you at the
bottom. Yeah, that's right. That's right. You're gone. You're no longer. It's as if you never raced.
Boy, that's brutal.
Well, that's life. That's life, Like I said, the guy who was the number 2 was 65 or whatever it was, the one. I can't believe that one.
Yeah, what was the old NFL saying? And the agony of defeat.
Yeah, well, there's got to be winners and losers. My wife asked me, she goes, "Oh, so those are all male horses?" I go, "Yeah, well, they have female horses races." And she goes, "Where are they?" I said, "Well, nobody watches those."
Yeah, such is the nature of sport.
Yeah, I know. Not to put down women. It's just I don't even know. I don't even know enough about racing to know when they race and how they race differently or whatever the deal is. All right, John, good to have you in there. That's John, Whiskey 4 Alpha, Whiskey Echo over in Bellevue. Great signal as always. Who else? So West of Mount Juliet, please come in. Well, then we're moving around to the south. Please come in.
KN4 MPV.
Hey, Jerry.
Good evening there, Paul, and everybody out there that can hear me. Hope everybody had a good weekend. What was left of it between the little showers and things. Hadn't had a whole lot of rain over here in Murfreesboro, really. Just enough to kind of mess things up. Just to keep it messed up enough, I guess you couldn't do a whole lot outside. But it wasn't too bad this morning, earlier.
No, it's nothing, just enough to get your sneakers wet out on the lawn.
That's about it, man. But looking for a better day tomorrow, as they say it's supposed to be. So we'll be looking forward to that. And everybody's doing a good job tonight. Sounds good out here. And hope everybody enjoys the rest of the weekend. And let you have it back, Paul. KN4 MPV Mobile.
Yeah, very good. Good to have you in there, Terry. That's Terry Kilo, November 4, Mike Papa Victor, and he's down in Murfreesboro. Of great signal. He doesn't make the Wednesday nights because he works, can't be on. So it's good to have him in here on Saturday night. Who else see south of Mount Juliet, south of 40?
K4TYJ.
Hey, Jim, what's up with you?
Just another day living the dream. It's been raining out here all evening in Woodbury. Other than that, I had a lovely day. Went to Murfreesboro, had some lunch, and did some shopping, come back home. So everything's good. And I trust everything's good with everybody else.
Hey, when you roll into the big city, do you wear your bib overall?
No, I'm not allowed to leave the house with them.
Yeah, I've got to say, no, I was just kidding. Murfreesboro must look like a monster city compared to where you live.
Well, yeah, but luckily for me, I get to work in Murfreesboro, so it's not such a shock when I go there.
Oh, just your wife is shocked.
We come through Murfreesboro and notice that they're building things that we haven't seen in like a year.
Well, yeah. Just as an aside, just as on that issue, I was looking where I used to live in Tampa, and of course I've lived there since 2009. But I was looking at the Google view, the overhead view, the satellite view of. It wasn't an area I lived in, but it was an area that was growing. It had been growing for the last 30, 40 years. And it was in it's called West Tampa, or Town and Country area, if you ever look on there. But I saw in that area, with an overhead view, a couple thousand feet up, the monster that a growing area that can become of just nothing but wall-to-wall retail and housing developments as far as major roadways. It just fills up everything between the major roadways. It would be kind of like everything from Mount Juliet Road all the way over to 109 to be packed, with housing developments and retail. And you think that's where this place is headed?
Oh yeah, that's where Murfreesboro's going. It's well on its way. You go out New Salem Highway on the houses they put up, and it's almost like they put them up overnight. And the businesses, and they're expanding the highway by another 2 lanes, and it's just amazing how fast they're building out there. But that's pretty much all I got. Good to hear everybody on the net tonight, and I will be standing by for I guess this swap and swindle and the sideband portion. So K4PW, K4TYJ, and net. I'll be standing by.
Yeah, very good, Jim. That was Jim Kilo Echo 4 Tango Yankee Juliet in Woodbury. Well, near Woodbury. It's just north of Woodbury, actually. He's out in the sticks. Who else south of 40? Please come in.
KM4VDA.
So how you doing, Dan?
I think I'm in a void today. I'm not picking up much of anybody.
We have some odd conditions because I've seen some of the signals came and went, and I was talking to even Wes earlier today down in down towards Watertown, and his signal was crap. And I was talking to, just a few minutes ago to Steve, and his was up and down all over the place. So I'm not surprised that you're having some issues.
I know Wednesday I heard, like I said, I heard Steve like he was talking over my shoulder, and today it didn't pick him up at all.
Oh, wow. So you couldn't even hear him. Yeah, see, that'll give you an idea that there's some, whatever the humidity, rain, clouds, who knows what, thermal inversions. I don't know what it is.
I have a good idea for the Kentucky Derby. Make the horses wear those hats.
Yeah, that's right. My wife said, they shouldn't have these kind of rule changes. I go, what do you mean? She goes, I think it just ought to be, whoever, you can do anything. I said, what, like stab the horse next to you while you're running? I mean, yeah, free for all, man. That would make it fun.
Yeah, when I was young, my father used to drag us down to the racetrack. And to answer your question about those, they had stewards on towers along the track who would watch for whatever the heck they do wrong.
Oh, they even had those then, way back when?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you get somebody that got a long shot and win, and the next thing you know, they were out of the money.
Wow, I didn't know that. Huh. Yeah, I don't know much about horse racing other than there's horses and people that ride them. I asked my wife, I said something, I said, yeah, when we got into that silly discussion about, she goes, where do all the girl horses race? I go, well, like, I don't know. Same. They all have a status. I think they all have female horses in one race. I don't think they race males against females. I don't think. And I said, then it would make it interesting if it was all female riders on female horses. And she goes, nah, never happened. She goes, I said, what do you mean? She goes, because it's too dangerous. Women don't want to get into dangerous jobs like that.
Hey, you got to watch that talk with your wife like that. You're going to wind up with lumps on your head.
No, she agrees. I mean, when you look at who fills up all the dangerous jobs in this world, it's not women, it's men.
That's true, but nowadays, participation trophies and equal this and equal that. You never know what happens when you open your mouth the wrong way.
I'm gonna get all my trophies taken away from me, whichever ones I used to get. Just take all the plaques away and say, I'm sorry, you had too much white male privilege.
Yeah, I had two. I threw them in the trash can.
Anyway, yeah, we live in a nutty world. All these crazy titles that I didn't even ask for. All right, very good. That was Dan. Kilo Mike 4, Victor Alpha. I didn't realize they had stewards along the track. That answers that question I had earlier on horse racing, to keep an eye on who's playing fair. All right, who else is next? South of 40, please come in. Anybody else south of 40?
Kilo Echo 4, Yankee Victor.
Hello, Larry. How was your? How are you hearing signals tonight?
Fair. They're a little bit weaker. I heard Dan pretty good.
Okay, just curious. I mean, it's noticeably bad on some of the more distant stations to me. Yours is great.
Okay, we'll let you get on with it. KE4 SYV.
Yeah, very good, Larry. You were S9 if you didn't see it on the web, but that's Larry, Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor in Rockville. Great signal as always, and glad you're there. Who else we got south of 40?
K4IDC.
Hey, what's up, Robin? You doing all right?
Yep. It's raining and the frogs are singing.
Yeah, when I lived in Florida, it depended upon the time of year, and I don't remember what time. It was raining a lot in the summer, but there were occasions, and I thought about it today when it was raining, off and on. There were occasions where there was a lot of rain, and it would drive, and I'm not joking, it was ugly. We had a pond that was adjacent to my property, and it was behind the house next to me and behind the other house. Well, my property didn't touch the pond, and I think that's where it didn't come out of the pond, now that I think. But here's what happens is, you'd come down the road, and I am not exaggerating when I tell you this, there'd be hundreds of toads either just on the pavement or coming across the pavement. It was like a migration of toads. And you couldn't help but run over them. I mean, you couldn't avoid them. The only way to avoid them was to stop the car and walk them. The toads got run out by the rain, I guess.
Yeah, sorry, I had a soldering iron in my hand there. Yeah, I don't doubt it. I've seen situations like that before. I think we call that a frog strangler around here.
Yeah, it was, but in this case, as you know, the toads don't live in the water, and we had a lot of toads are just in Florida in general because it's a great hunting ground for insects, so toads do very well.
Don't talk about all those snowbirds like that.
That's right. One of my favorites was one time more than once. I had a dog bowl outside for the dog we kept outside during the day. And I came out I don't know if it was morning or evening, went out there, opened up the door, and here's a big toad just sitting inside the dog dish, waiting for insects to stop by. He wasn't too smart. He was very smart, not too dumb.
Well, I think all critters tend to find their source of food.
Oh, absolutely. But you doing all right down there?
Yeah. I had a funeral to attend this afternoon for my wife's mentor when she was working at Baptist Hospital. Went and paid our respects, took care of that piece of business, and then we went to Centennial Park and enjoyed the craft fair for a couple hours. So that was a nice way to spend the evening, and it didn't really start raining until after the craft fair closed up, so timing was good in that regard.
Oh, cool. What kind of crafts were presented? I haven't been to one of those in ages. Was it like every kind of craft there was?
Jewelry, glass work, woodwork, um, decorations for the home, lamps made out of trees that were really pretty, big pieces of, rough driftwood, things of that nature, leather works, that pretty well covers it. Oh, clothing accessories, scarves, shawls, things of that nature. So we enjoy going to that, once a year or so.
Yeah, those are fun to go to. So some people are very good at. I mean, they have some really, really nice. Did it include anybody with photographic exhibitions they were selling?
No photography that I saw.
Huh. Usually you see somebody in there with that stuff. Maybe they don't want that modern stuff.
Yeah, there's a little more hands-on, a little more muscle required to produce the product, I think.
Hey, what was how old was the lady? I assumed it was a lady who died from Baptist.
No, it was a man, the doctor, Dr. Robert Hart, who started the cardiac program at Baptist Hospital back in the 60s, and he was 87.
Yeah, well, he had a good life then. It's never nice to go. Funerals are never fun, as you know, but 87 is not too shabby.
Yeah, he'd been in a state of decline the last 2 or 3 years, so it was kind of sad in that regard, but it was good to see folks from way back when, and his family, and things of that nature. So we owe him a debt of gratitude because he stayed on as chief medical officer there. Danielle reported directly to him, and he stayed on for a year or so past when he had planned to retire so that she could finish up her schoolwork. She was in school finishing a bachelor's degree at the time. So, and that opened other doors, which is why we are where we are now.
Cool. Yeah, that's nice. It's nice that people care that much, and there are people out there like that.
Eulogy was very honoring and very respectful and very appropriate.
Yeah, I got you. Sounds great. Well, sounds like you led a productive life helping other people too.
He did, absolutely. He is admired by everyone who knows him.
Cool. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Pretty nice. All right, very good, Robin. Good to hear you in there. Good signal. Kilo 4 India Delta Charlie. He is in south of me, about 6 miles, just west of Mount Juliet Road. Who else south of 40? Anybody else south of Interstate 40? Going over to the east then.
WA4 is an HI.
I thought you'd jump right in there, and you did. How you doing, Jim?
Just jumping right there.
Yeah. No mowing the lawn for you today.
No, I stayed in the house all day today.
Yeah, I pretty much did too. I did, well, I've gotten into the habit now again of working out on my rowing machine, which is a tedious thing, but I put on the headphones and turn on something I want to listen to on my tablet and have a good old time, kind of.
Yeah, I put on headphones so I don't hear the TVs all over the house.
Oh, your family doing well?
Yeah, I guess so, pretty much.
You guess so. Yeah, you never know, really, do you? No, I'm pretty sure you do. All right, James, good to hear you in there. Whiskey Alpha 4 Zulu Hotel India. He is right here in the middle of Mount Juliet. Good signal. Good to have you in there, James. Who else east of Mount Juliet?
KN4LXH.
You know, it's funny, just saying your call, every time I write it down, I have to think about it because L, X, and H don't seem to go together.
Well, that's what the FCC determined, so, I've got to live with it.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, it's not a problem. It's just I have, it's just one of those things. L, X, H, when you say it, I don't know, they kind of roll together. I have to think about it.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I'm just sitting here waiting for ionization.
Well, don't forget to go to sleep when you have to, because it may be a while.
Well, we got 2 areas rotating off the dark side of the sun now, so I think things are going to pick up a little bit, maybe.
Oh, that'd be great. When do they expect that to change,
Well, I noticed the sunspot number popped up from 0 to 11 today, so I guess they're coming back into the Earth strike zone, and then I guess hopefully we'll get more sunspots as they rotate in full view.
Yeah, I remember the good old days when the sunspots were really active.
I've only been a ham for a year, so I guess I can't talk about the good old days.
Well, when I say good old days, I'm told historically the good old days were back in the 50s, 60s, and I wasn't a ham then either. But I caught some of the good days in the last 15 years when 10 meters was open quite a bit, and it was a lot better conditions than we have now.
Yeah, I occasionally see nets that are on 10 meters that I'll tune them up and it's like silent, So I don't know. I haven't heard. I have not heard one station on 10 meters in the year I've been a ham. So I don't know what's going on there. So it's just there's no propagation.
Oh no, I got you. I was just telling. Who was I telling? I was telling Kevin earlier today. I built. I say built. It's not too hard to build. I built an end-fed ZEP for 10 meters, cut 4 10-meter band. I hung it from a tree, and all it is a half-wave wire and a quarter-wave piece of twin lead and a coax hooked up to the bottom of that. And I talked all over the United States on it when 10 meters was open.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, that's great. I got a vertical it's a multi-band vertical that will do 10 meters, but like I said, until propagation improves, I go up there once in a while just to check, but it's exercise in futility.
Oh no, I understand, but don't ever give up because it's funny if you haven't noticed already. People will say the bands are dead, and then when there's like coming up in in June with the field day, all of a sudden there's 700 people on 10 meters and 2 meters and 70 centimeters, and on all over the place. You go, I thought the bands were dead.
Yeah, a lot of times people will say that, and on 40 meters and 20 meters and like that, it'll just people just aren't on because they think the band's dead. And all of a sudden, somebody like a contest occurs, and all of a sudden there's people everywhere. But I don't know. You can't say that about 10 meters. When there's no prop there, it's just no prop.
No, I understand. I do understand, but I've only rarely been disappointed if I get on, well, not on 10 recently, but if I've gotten on 20 or 40 or wherever, and you get on there and just call in CQ, if you have some patience, sometimes somebody will eventually find you,
Yeah, I guess I need to do more of that, but I've been mainly preoccupied with nets and so forth like that, so I haven't done a lot of calling on CQ.
Well, I did that. I used to, when I lived in Florida, I used to drive up on part of the causeway that went from Tampa to Clearwater, west of the airport, and it was right between, and on either side of the road was saltwater. It was saltwater marsh on the north side, and it was a saltwater bay on the south side, which was Tampa Bay. And it was a great spot to be mobile with a mobile antenna with a screwdriver. And it was great. I had conditions where I talked to Japan and Russia, and it was neat. But there was also another night I sat there because it took me like 20 minutes to get over there. It wasn't a little short hop from the house. Well, relatively short, but I went over there and I was calling CQ. I'll bet you I got a hoarse throat calling CQ for like 40 minutes. I thought, man, this is crazy. The bands are dead. And then this guy comes up really loud. He goes, hey, how you doing? Good to hear you. I go, oh, finally. I said, where are you? And he was like 2 miles away. He lived in a neighborhood down the road.
Oh man, I tell you, I don't know. I've never heard in the year I've been on HF. I've never heard China, Japan, or Australia. So I'm waiting for that to happen.
Well, Australia, you can, I haven't done that in a while, but Australia usually can get, much later, well, earlier in the morning, way earlier in the morning.
You mean like 4 a.m.-ish?
Yeah, after midnight. I forget when the best time is, but it's way past. I used to catch it like 2:30, something. I forget now, but especially on digital, I was able to get it pretty easy, and I had, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 of the states I contacted over.
Well, I don't know if I want to work Australia that badly.
Oh, I know what you mean. It's yeah, it's not important if it's not important. It was neat because my schedule worked out that I could do that with no problems. But, all right, Jimmy, good to have you in there. I didn't realize it was such a short time in ham radio, but you seem like you're doing pretty good. Yeah, it was Kilo November 4, Lima X-Ray Hotel, and that's Jimmy. He's here in Mount Juliet up north of the high school near Lebanon Road, doing a great job. And I'm looking forward for good reports on everything you got going because you seem like you're really, really interested in it. Who else we got east of Mount Juliet?
The 4APX.
Hello, Eddie. How you doing?
Doing fairly well. Got a few things done today and went to a class reunion breakfast this morning for my wife's graduation class. And luckily we didn't get rained on, so that worked out pretty good.
Oh, that's great. Um, those aren't as much fun. Well, maybe those are more fun because you don't know anybody from the school, do you?
Well, I know a few of them from the last couple of years, but she's a few years younger than me.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. I haven't been to a class reunion in a while, but I have been to a few, and they can be all right. But it's one of those deals. You go if I, if these people they're not that great to see because if I wanted to see them, they'd call and contact me regularly, and they don't.
Yeah, I was extra quiet and shy when I was in school. That seemed to be the opposite.
Yeah. No, I'm just about the way I am now, kind of outgoing and silly and stupid. And lots of people knew me, but that was a detriment to my grades, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I wasn't much interested in learning what they were teaching either. But thanks for doing that tonight. Appreciate all you do.
All right, Eddie. That was Eddie, Whiskey 4 Echo Bravo X-ray. He is just about my age, give or take a few months, I think, and going to a high school reunion with his wife. It can be fun, though. It can be a lot of fun. All right, that's Whiskey 4 Echo Bravo X-ray Eddie, and he's over here south of 40, just over near Gladeville. Who else? East of Mount Juliet. Anybody else east of Mount Juliet, please come on.
KG4, Easy.
Hey, hold on, Earl. I got Kevin beat you to the punch there. How you doing, Kevin?
Doing pretty good. I can't complain, Paul. Same as earlier, just a little bit later.
And a little bit older.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I know I know how old I am. I just don't want to admit it.
I hear you. I don't blame you. If I was old as you, I wouldn't want to admit it either.
Yeah, that's right. Well, there's some people on here older than me, so we don't want to be too insulting. It's just my advice to everybody is be as active as you can because it's easy to lose that activity. I know it's taken me some time getting back up to speed after that accident, and it's just a lot of work. I just don't want to deteriorate any further than I have to.
Oh, heck yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, you got to stay busy. If you don't, you'll lose it. That move it or lose it, or how's that go?
I think it's use it or lose it. Isn't that it?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, so I'm out of luck, I guess.
All right, well, I'll be ready for that sideband there.
All right, sounds good. That was Kevin, Kilo Golf 4, Mike India Zulu over in near the heart of Lebanon, just west of the square. Who else? East Mongolia?
Hey, Ford, easy.
Hey, Earl, almost forgot about you. How you doing?
The old saying, better than I deserve, but I got to work at it. But everything's doing pretty well. A little bit of raindrops on my head, makes dreams come true and whatnot. Working on maybe a shared opportunity for the popularity of Simplex Net and everything. But anyway, I'm just investigating now. I don't know if it's a good idea or not.
Okay, I'm not sure. Your signal is 0, but your audio is great.
Well, per my meter over here, I'm doing 40 watts, which is about the proper output of what the radio's supposed to be doing. I've got like a 1.2 match on my X300 dual band antenna about stood still 11 feet off the ground.
Well, it's an interesting observation because your audio is just fine. It's a little tiny bit rough, but not bad. It's fully readable, nice and loud, but it's just that there's nothing. It doesn't move the meter 1 millimeter.
being heard, and maybe I need I know what I need, but it's just a matter of getting out there and getting motivated on doing everything to do to get to what I need. Okay.
Oh, I hear you. No, you're doing fine. You're doing fine. I mean, like I said, you couldn't get much louder than that, considering there's no signal shown here. But it's a testimony that I think your antenna and my antenna that it's you got what you got. How are you copying other people on that?
Well, pretty much, probably fair to middling, I guess. I think there's only been about 2 or 3 people out there I didn't hear. I didn't hear that feller very well up there on the north side of you and everything, but that's probably due to the terrain features as well with my little lower ground plane.
Yeah, well, yeah, that makes it a little tougher for you to do what you think you want to do. All right, very good, Earl. Good to have you in there. That was Kilo Echo 4 Delta Echo Zulu. He's over there in Noreen, just east of the Cedars of Lebanon. Great signal, good audio, and a very almost no signal to me, but the audio is certainly overpowering at this end. Who else east? Please come down. Then we'll go to late check-ins. Yeah, we already covered north. Late check-ins, please come down. Hey, where are you? Where are you, Richard? I hear you. Ah, okay. Highway 10 in Hartsville. I'm copying you. Okay. Well, just broken up a little bit there, Richard, but I got you in there. Everything else going well? Well, I don't hear him now, but he's mobile. That's Richard, Kilo India 4 Sierra India Bravo. Checked in anyway, mobile with a choppy signal, but I could hear him well. Anybody else late checking?
WY4G.
Hey, how you doing, Jeff?
Tired. I slept through the net. I fell asleep right where you came on, I guess. I slept through it, but I'm here.
Ah, very good. You sound good.
Yeah, well, nothing should have changed between my station and yours, and everything's still the same.
Yeah, I'd say it was boring, but it's not. I like to hear good signals.
Well, radio is still doing its job, and that pretty good diamond antenna I have. I think that's the best part of it.
Yeah, I agree. Well, a good antenna is good, and obviously elevation is the other key element to it, and of course a reasonably good feed line.
Yeah, I have used some of the coax man feed line I've had for a while, but that's the equivalent to 213, I believe. That's what it is.
No, that's doing great. It's doing really great. I don't think you've been on long enough. Were you having trouble hearing any other stations, or did you hear any stations you hadn't heard before?
No, I fell asleep right when you opened the net, and I just now woke up, so kind of took a nap through the thing.
I guess. So I'm the cure to insomnia, is what you're saying.
No, I think fatigue is.
Oh yeah, working hard. You're right. It's well, you work all week and then you work Saturdays too, so I guess that's a problem.
Yeah, been pretty busy, this entire week. But I think working those kind of hours, do catch up to you.
Oh yeah, no, they do. It can if you're not getting the amount of sleep or whatever the issue is going on. I know what you're talking about. Well, very good, Jeff. Good to have you in there. That's Jeff from Madison, Whiskey Yankee 4 Golf. Great signal. I'm glad you're able to wake up by the end of the net and catch the late check-ins. Good to have you there, Jeff. Who else? Late check-ins. Please come in. Well, very good. Then we'll go on to the lollygaggers, lurkers, sandbaggers, scanner listeners, SDR donglers. Who else is there? Oh yeah, the preppers and the end time survivalists. Nothing heard. Procrastinators got to check in like after midnight or next tomorrow or day after. But well, then we'll move right on to the buy, sell, swap, and swindle net. Who is got anything to sell? John, you still got that 991 for sale? Well, he must have stepped away. He did have, and I'm going to presume it is, if you're interested in a $750 991 radio, which is made by Yaesu, it's a great radio, all mode, all band, all the way through 70 centimeters, 2 meters, and the Yaesu Fusion's on top of that as well. I think it was $750. Anybody else got anything they want to sell?
About swindle.
Well, you got something to swindle? That's what you swindle them after you sell it to them. You know, they don't know until afterwards.
Well, I don't want to hide anything. I live in a glass house.
I got you. Well, if anybody got anything they want to swindle, we'll go to that list.
K4DZ.
All right. You don't have anything to swindle, do you?
No, actually, I didn't know how to clarify it, or I just had a question. Maybe I might have some time to get some input.
Oh, very good. What you got?
Well, a mono band antenna versus a dual band antenna, which one is, I guess it depends on the individual, but I was wondering which one would be a little bit, I don't know, preferred over one or the other, if there is any preference.
I don't know. I've often wondered the same thing. They just have a single band, you know, like this one that I'm using now is a dual band, 70 centimeter, 2 meter, and it has a great rating on both. I guess if there's an argument against having like for in this case, not having 70 centimeters, it's actually hard to find. I don't think you can find this antenna with this gain, for instance, the one I have, that 700, in the same in 2 meters with that gain in a single band antenna. They join it up with a 2 meter and a 70 centimeter and sell it that way. You can buy, for instance, 70 centimeters. You can buy 2 meter antennas alone, I believe, but I don't think any of them have this rating. Yeah, everybody wants dual band.
Okay. I was just curious. I mean, I'm kind of classifying that as a vertical antenna. Of course, I know you can probably do that with a beam or whatever, but there seems to be I don't know, power handling issue for some things or another that is kind of interesting.
Yeah, no, it is interesting. I think that I got the impression always that like a dual band beam that puts, or dual, or I just saw one the other day that reminded me there was a 2 meter, 70 centimeter, and 6 meter beam, with elements on all of them on the same mast. And I couldn't help but think that they tended to compromise each other when you're on the air.
Okay. Well, that's all I got there, Tom. Unless somebody else want to chime in. And back to you. Oh, one other question. Does Robbie still have that power supply he's gone through and been trying to sell, or is that already gone, or do you know?
I don't know. Robbie, you still there?
Oh,
it was already sold?
Yeah, 2-3 weeks.
No, I didn't ask for when. I just want to know if it was sold. It's a yes or no question.
Yeah, affirmative.
All right, it's sold. What were you looking for, Earl?
I was just looking for looking at different between that there X700 and maybe that there Hustler type mono 2 meter ground plane. But of course, this little Ringo I got, it ain't much better than a your favorite word, J-pole, but it's got pretty well high power rating on it there, so but then again, I can't afford to run legal
No, I got you. But you were looking for a power supply. What? How much? What for a 50-watt radio?
Well, I just, I was just, the opportunity came out and he had it priced right. I just never did get his, I don't know, his contact information wrote down right or imprinted in my gray matter correctly. I just thought while he was out there, I'd throw that out there. Instead of, I got one 50 amp power supply Astron over here. And of course, it's getting a little weak, so it might need some rebuilding or some, TLC. Okay.
I got you. So, but you're still looking for another 50-watt power supply, or it's not 50-watt, but you're looking for what? What size power supply are you looking for?
Yeah, probably a. Well, I really don't know. I was just curious about that right now. I was just not really looking. I'm kind of looking, but I'm kind of WOD about it way out there.
Okay, very good. All righty. We'll if anybody has one pop up, I'll keep you posted. All right. Anybody else got any buy, sell, swap, or swindle? Please come down.
W4AWE. I was in the other end of the house. Yes, I still have the 991, and it's been so thoroughly checked out. Of course, if anyone's interested, I'll be happy to hook it all up on the bench into the, through the bird watt meters and demonstrate all the performance.
All righty. And again, John does have that 991 for sale. I think you said 750. Was that the correct number?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, very good. It's a great buy for 750. The all mode, all band, all the way through 160 through 70 centimeter, and then the A-Suit Fusion on top of that. It's $750. Great rig. Essentially new out of the box, but it's still a good radio. In fact, it's been upgraded to all the current standards, 750. So you can contact John, Whiskey 4 Alpha, Whiskey Echo, and his email is good on QRZ. Anybody else? Thanks, John.
KM4CCQ lollygagging. Could I check in?
Oh,
I heard somebody else in there. Was that the Richard again? I got you.
close to the hole, can you hear me?
I could hear you before, Richard. I checked you in fine. You were mobile up near Hartsville and I forget where else. Oh, Lafayette.
I couldn't hear you. Was a problem. I couldn't make out what you were saying.
Okay, very good. I got you checked in. Let me jump out. I'll catch you in a minute once you get closer. But I got Preston's in there. Kilo November 4, Charlie, Quebec. How you doing, Preston?
Doing great. I almost forgot it was Saturday, man. It's a rainy all day, so got to try to catch you on the lollygagging section, but I missed that too.
I shut up and get out of y'all's way and get closer to the house. Maybe I can hear better. KM4SIB.
All righty, Richard, and all right, Preston. Good to have you in there. Yeah, it's. I didn't even get to send out a reminder today. I've been so kind of busy. I should say that kind of because didn't do all that much. But yeah, good to have you in there, Preston.
Roger.
Let's put you down as a lollygagger procrastinator.
Yeah, that's a good deal, man. Appreciate it, Paul.
All right, we'll catch you later. That was Preston over in Possum Trot. That's Kilo November 4. Charlie, Quebec. Good signal, good audio. Anybody else? Late check-ins, lollygaggers, or whatever, please come on. All right, we're going to go over to, if there's no objections, I'm going to move over to the sideband net on 144.240 K4PEW. Any questions? Upper sideband 144.240. I'll be there momentarily. This is K4PEW on the sideband portion of the 144.240 upper sideband for the K4PEW Mount Juliet sideband Simplex Net. Anybody? Let's do it. We'll start where we left off. We'll start again with the north of Mount Juliet. West of Mount Juliet. I presume John's in there.
W4AWE.
All right, John, I got you, and I'll come back to you. Who else? So west of Mount Juliet? South of Mount Juliet, please come in.
KM4 DD8 CCQ.
All right, hang on. I got you in there, Dan. I think I heard CCQ Preston. There might have been another one in there.
K4TYJ.
Yeah, I thought that was you in there, Jim. Anybody else south, please come in. Nobody else south. KE4TYJ was the last one. I got it written down. Didn't get it written down properly. Anybody else south, please come down. How about west? West of Mount Juliet.
W4EWE.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got you in there. I meant to say, I got backwards here. I'm looking for east, really. Hold on there, John. East of Mount Juliet.
All right, KG4, MIZ.
Well, I figured that's what's funny. I was thinking about you because I knew you were over there wanting to check in on the sideband, and instead of saying east, I said west. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, I was all like, oh man, I must have got in here late.
Nah, you're doing fine. It was all me. Anybody else east? That was Kevin over in Lebanon. Anybody else east?
Kilo Echo 4 Delta Echo.
Hey, it's a big night. Earl's here, and man, we're jumping right in there with, I don't know, 7 counting yet, but it's Earl. Anybody else east? Or let's go east, north, west, or south. Please come on.
KB9RKK.
Hey, thanks for hanging in there. You got in first and maybe last.
Yeah, you were too quick. I couldn't move that fast.
Yeah, mine is funny because all I have to do is push one button and it goes to the other simplex frequency I have it on, which is the simplex, the upper sideband. So just touch the button and I'm already there.
Yeah, you're going to make me program my radio.
I know what you mean. All right, very good, Frank. Anybody else, north, south, east, or west? Please come on. I heard something in there. Anybody copy that? This is K4PEW in Mount Juliet. Was there another station trying to check in? I'm going to guess. Is that Steve? Say again? No, I'm not. Anybody else copying that signal?
No, I don't have a copy.
Negative over here. No copy here.
All right, let's try that one more time. I've got a signal out there somewhere trying that. I can't tell who it is. Do me a favor and say that several times while I said either I'm off your frequency a little bit or you're off of mine, but let me just move around and repeat your call 3 or 4 times, please. Well, it's annoying that I can't. No one else can hear you, but I can. And I can't make out your signal. I can't make out your call. You would do me a favor if you could, and email me. You can look up my call on QRZ, that Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey, because I'm surprised that no one else can hear you, but I'm hearing you so faintly. So I don't know why though, because we have people with reasonably good antennas, both east, west. I think north and south, and I'm the only one in the middle who can hear you. Hopefully you can tell me you can do that for me. I'm assuming you said yes. But anyway, my call is Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey. You may already know that. Just try one more time as the conditions may change. Can you give me a call a couple of times? Steve, is that you? K4WKU? Well, I'm going to let it go. I presume it is Steve, but I'm not sure up in Kentucky. Hopefully whoever it is will email and let me know for certain. All right, very good. We had, hold on one second. Well, pretty good night for sideband as well. I don't think we've had more than 8, but we did have 8 tonight, so which is good. We had me. No, it's, of course, that's K4PEW. Had Whiskey 4 Alpha Whiskey Echo over in Bellevue, John. Then we had Dan here in Mount Juliet, Kilo Mike 4 Victor Alpha, and Preston over in Possum Truck, Kilo November 4 Charlie Quebec. Jim down in Woodbury, Kilo Echo 4 Tango Yankee Juliet. And we had, who else did we have? Kilo Echo 4 Delta Echo Zulu. We had Earl down in Noreen. And the one I almost skipped over, Kevin there. Kilo Golf 4 Mike India Zulu. And then Frank Kilo Bravo 9 Romeo Kilo.
K4IDC, number 9.
Wow, man, you had to get my volume turned way up. Man. It almost blew my ears up. Yeah, I was trying to hear another. There was another station that just I couldn't copy. It was a really weak signal, and no one else could hear him but me.
I caught that part.
Yeah, it's annoying. I was hoping somebody else could hear him. I mean, I can't be the only one, but I guess I was tonight. All right, and now we can include Robin, Kilo 4 India Delta Charlie down here south of me in technically Hermitage. At least that's what they call it. Anybody, I guess, is anybody not copying any of those stations? All right. Well, very good. We had a good night with 9 and possibly 10 with a question mark. I'll find out if that was Steve later because it was hard to. I thought that's what his call was, but I hate to write things down if I'm not positive. All right. Very good. Great night for sideband with a grand total of 9, possibly 10. And you guys have a great night. I'll be over on FM in a minute. So you guys have a great night. K4PEW closing that.
All right, Paul, had fun as usual. K4TYJ.
Yeah, your signal's awesome, man.
Yeah, I can barely hear him over here.
Really? You're having a tough time hearing Jim over in Woodbury?
Yeah, he's got his beam pointed to you, I suppose.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, that would be the reason, I'm sure. Jim, how are you copping Preston?
Well, let me turn a little bit to the west. I can hear him a little bit better. He was doing pretty good there. This should help a lot there, Preston.
Oh yeah, I figured you had it pointed to Paul, and I could hear you, but you were way down there. But your signal's up now. Sounds good.
Well, thank you. You're doing a good job back this way too, Preston. Of course, I point the antenna that way. That's why I get. I don't have very many friends, other than over towards Paul's house.
Copy that. Well, I tell you what, Jim, we got a friend in Possum Truck.
I'm you don't know how that makes me feel. That feels great because there's very few people in Possum Truck to begin with, from what I understand, and to be friends with one of them. I've heard that you might even be the mayor.
Could be the emperor, not only the mayor. I could rule the neighborhood, but I don't know. I seriously doubt it.
Well, I need to get over there one day. I would love to get over there and check out the QTH and everything.
Well, you and Lyle just hop on the bike and ride on over.
Hey, hold on, Earl, do you have something to say in there?
Yeah, I'm closer to Jim than what you were, Paul. I thought we were friends from way back.
Well, you notice he didn't say I was a friend. He says there was friends in my direction.
Well, I think your direction, there's a possibility he could just pass by my house on the way to Mount Juliet.
Yeah, very good. Let me close down the thing here. And Preston, James, go ahead, please.
I don't know if I go past Noreen or not. I mean,